So we're joined from Washington, D.C. by my friend Portia Obeng, social media LinkedIn specialist. We thank you so much for joining us. This is our entrepreneurship class here at Velma Jackson High School. And we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule for us today.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to get on your schedule.
Now, we obviously want to talk about your business and some of the things that these kids can use, whether they're an entrepreneur or an employee later on. But just give us a little background. I went to the University of North Carolina, and got into social media and have turned it into a business.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was an undergrad, I studied business administration with a concentration in marketing, thinking that I was going to learn how to run a business. But that's not the case. So when you go to school, you should study entrepreneurship if you do want to run a business, right?
Yeah.
But like if you want to learn how to work for other people's businesses, then you study business administration. Yeah, my concentration was in marketing, and I went to work for a big retail corporation right after undergrad. It was not a good fit for me at all. Didn't like it, not one bit. And so I started doing some freelance work where I was writing articles for a local website. And the way that you got paid from those articles is pays per click. So the amount of people who were viewing the articles, that's how much you got paid. And I was like, well, I got to promote my articles somehow. And that's when Facebook and Twitter were really like becoming more popular and people were using them in their businesses and their companies. So I started using Facebook and Twitter to promote my articles. And then that's when I was like, okay, let me just get a job in social media. And then that's where I am now.
That's incredible. Now, people hear social media, and look, we know it's not going anywhere, and it's only going to keep growing. But it's just so important for people to understand the ways it can help you, because there's too many ways it can harm you. But it can be very useful not only for an entrepreneur, but also for an employee, because as somebody that spends every day working with people on social media, you know that first of all, if you are applying for a job, they are going to search your social media. And it is so important to remember that nothing you really put out there is private.
Correct. 1000%. I don't think people realize that nothing is deleted from the internet ever. Like you can go on and like you post something and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have posted that. You delete it. It doesn't matter these days. They can pull it up. Somebody's probably already screenshotted it. It's really, and we see so many stories of how those posts on social media have come back to haunt people, like stuff they said in the past that resurfaces. So nothing is ever deleted.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, now you've kind of found a niche because it really is cool how you thought to make this a business, because so many people have admitted, look, I know how to use social media, but I don't know how to use it effectively. So, what made you go into business to help people be more engaging and more profitable, or more able to market themselves on social media?
Yeah, well, I always wanted to have a business. Like I mentioned, like when I was an undergrad, I was looking for ways to become an entrepreneur or business owner. But as I was going through my career, I realized that because I had those skills in marketing in terms of marketing products and doing campaigns, I was like, oh, I can just help people market themselves better. So whether it's their personal brands or their businesses, so I was able to translate into that. And that's where it was like, okay, well, one thing they tell you about when you're starting a business is like make sure you can make money before you go into the process of, registering the LLC and all those things. Like, so I first had to make sure that I could make money. And then when I was like, oh, there's people who would actually pay me for either social media strategy or for doing their LinkedIn profiles, I was like, okay, I have a viable business here. So that's really was a factor.
Yeah, and even though you're an expert in digital marketing, something that I'll always stress is the ability to have verbal and written marketing and oral communication as well. Because you can have a great service like you have, you can have something that you can be very skilled at, you can have a great idea, great prices. But if you can't communicate with customers, it's going to be very hard to be in business. So obviously, you're the expert 99.999% of the time. So you have to make it where people understand it. So it is very important for you to be a great communicator. So no matter what business people go into, or if they just want to have a side hustle and be a great employee, why is it so important to have those communication skills, whether it be writing emails, speaking on the phone, speaking on FaceTime, or just talking to people face to face.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the skills that I think is going to be the most valuable in the years to come, especially as AI starts to become more intertwined with our lives. People, there's a lot of AI like, oh, they're going to take our jobs, they're going to take our jobs. The AI tools are very poor communicators. So if you can develop that skill set of being able, like you said, to talk to people on the phone, if you can develop the skill set of being able to talk to people in person, like whether it's at meetings or events or anything, that's going to be a very valuable skill coming forward because you're able to communicate your thoughts, your ideas to somebody, and you're probably going to be able to motivate them to take a certain action or maybe not take a certain action, do certain things. Those communication skills, they're viable and they're viable and valuable in all different areas. Like if you're an employee, you have to be able to communicate to your bosses or even to your team that, hey, this is what I'm working on. These are the results that I'm delivering. Here's how I'm making an impact so that they don't have anything to say negative when you come to your job reviews and your performance reviews. But then when you're a business owner, you got to convince those potential clients and customers that you have a solution to whatever problem they have. So you have to be able to communicate the problem that the person has and then also the solution. So it's everything. I think the verbal communication is going to be extremely important in the next coming years.
Yeah, because it's not that AI is going to take the jobs; it's the skills needed for the jobs are going to be different. Because at the end of the day, people have to program the AI, people have to troubleshoot the AI. So it's the AI is not going anywhere, just like social media is not going anywhere. Now,
Right.
something that I think I see a lot of young people think is that when they're on social media, the goal is just to try to be silly and try to be funny. And
Yeah.
look, I'm a big sports fan. I like following celebrities and sport and athletes and seeing the stuff they're doing, but I also like following professional people to help not only get positive things in my life, but to see things that are positive and see things that are professional. And unless you are a celebrity, it really it's more useful to be polished and professional on social media than it is to try to be entertaining. And I think that's something that teenagers, this whole generation doesn't quite understand sometimes because all that's only going to last for so long. So if you're building a brand, and look, I'll be the first, I know we agree on this. There's already biases that people have about people because of the color of their skin or because of their gender. So people are already going to look at you a certain way, and it's not right and it's not fair, but everybody knows it's true. So you can use social media to try to say, look, here's why I'm professional. Here's why I'm not what you expect me to be, and here's why I'm the best person for the job.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Perfectly said. And for every one or like I tell people all the time, like for every five of these influencers or streamers that you see who have actually made it, there are 5,000 who did not. So like, yeah, you think it's easy. It's not easy. It takes work, it takes dedication. You gotta do the work. And so you're better off, like you explained, like you're better off using your socials for ways to promote yourself and the work that you do and the things that you're working on, the things that you're passionate about. Like, yeah, you don't have to be silly and doing dances and things like that. You can share information that helps people, whether it's something you're passionate about, and you want to help them become better at it or inform people, give them information. Lots of different options for what you can use social for to benefit you. But do always tell people all the time as well, learn how to use social, but don't let these platforms use you because these are money making machines. Like at the end of the day, Instagram, TikTok, these are not your friends. These are big, huge enterprises that make tons of money from ad dollars, and they just want to keep you on the platform sucked in for hours and hours a day so they can charge more money of ad dollars. So figure out how you can best use it for yourself and to benefit you, and don't be on there all day. That's what I tell people.
Now, and along the same lines, when some and all of them have their own business concepts that they've started for this class, so we got a lot of really cool ideas. But it's important to figure out who you want to market to, because if you try to market to everybody, you're going to try, or even it's going to be tough to let people know who you're really geared toward.
Right.
Because obviously you're not going to turn down a customer, but there's a certain customer you want to reach. So,
Right.
how do you determine your target market and determine how your content reaches that market?
Oh, that's great. Great question. So for me, I thought my target market was a certain person until I started doing the work. So I tell people all the time, you can develop your target market. Like for me, it was like, okay, my target market is a career professional who is trying, like probably entry level, something like that. But I didn't know who my target market was until I started doing the work, and then the people started coming to me. And I was like, oh, okay, so my target really for my one-on-one clients is somebody who is mid-career looking to develop their personal brand online. But then when it comes to corporations, my target are typically software companies, retail companies who are looking for their employees or their clients to develop their personal brand. So you gotta come up with an idea. I would say use, Google, say, hey, I'm a like what's one of the business concepts that one of the students has? Like what's one of them?
We got several. We got we got cosmetology, we got auto detail, we got barbecue, we got clothing line, we got Asian dance, we got what am I missing in here? Teenage hangout center. We got a few.
Excellent. So, like the person who their business concept is cosmetology, she may say that, oh, well, my target market is a teenager in high school who has like a part-time job, so they have a little bit of disposable income and they're going to love my products. When you release the product, and you may find out that, wait a minute, my target is actually a young professional who just graduated from college and is interested in making sure that they connect with their young side, like something like that. So you just got to start off with, who the target market is. And then as you do, it'll evolve and change.
Yeah, and we're a small community, and it's tough to see outside your bubble. But
Yes.
something that I've had several people on this platform say is you can't just say hope your friends are going to be the ones to support you. The goal of all this is to be seen by people that you want to be in your network because the saying is it's not what you know, it's who you know. I always take it one step farther. It's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Amen. That's a good one. I like that one. Yes, yes, that's a very good one. And yeah, I do want to go back to what you said about like if you in a small community, it's hard to see outside of your bubble. I don't think enough people, especially because I live in a metropolitan, like a large metropolitan area, I don't think enough people realize just how different life is outside of metropolitan areas and how it is very challenging for you to see outside of your bubble when you're not surrounded by people who are like doing things that you want to do. Like I live in a community where I can go down the street and there's small business owners. Not everybody has that. So I think it's very important for people to understand how different people live in different regions and that it may not be as easy for other people, but like providing examples of like it is possible for them to see, see other people. So like you having this program right here is very important for them to see that it is possible. It may take a little bit more work, but it is definitely possible.
Yeah, and before I get to their questions, that's what I wanted to say is look, I know I showed you the news article where I was quoted as saying rural communities, especially rural black communities, were left behind for decades. There's no argument about that. Resources, access, information just wasn't there. But things like this have, the goal of all this has been to even the playing field and expose these kids to what's possible because it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it can't happen. And it's no coincidence I have you here during Black History Month to say, look, just because your grandparents didn't have the opportunity that you have doesn't mean that you can't take advantage of it, of the opportunity you have now. And because I
Yeah.
think they'd be pretty dang proud if you were the first to be able to do something.
Yeah, they would be very, very proud. I mean, that's what our ancestors did. They worked so that we could do better. So yes, I agree.
Love it. Well, I do have some really good questions here. This first one is Jameer Mayfield. He's an 11th grade member of our band, has a really cool barbecue concept that would also feed the homeless. So, kind of a culinary slash social entrepreneurship idea. And he asked, being a LinkedIn professional, how do you stay updated with algorithm changes and any
Ooh,
changes that the app makes?
those algorithms are the worst. Let me tell you. It's so funny because I was listening to a podcast about how algorithms have impacted social media. Because the first algorithms were actually introduced like 10 years ago. So, in terms of keeping up with the algorithms, there is a website called Social Media Today, and they are very good at sharing information about the updates on various social media platforms. So I go there a couple times, especially when I'm on LinkedIn or TikTok because I post on both places and I see like changes in the engagement. I'm like, oh, maybe the algorithm changed. So then I'll go to that website and just search through the articles and see if there's any information about it, about the algorithms changing.
Love it. I like this one. This is Tredarius Quinn. He's in 11th grade or 10th grade. I'm sorry. He's in 10th grade. Also in the band, has a really cool concept for a clothing line. And he asked, how do you determine which platform is the best to use for a business? And then how do they target their audience?
Oh, very good. So I tell people for your business, just get all the social media platforms. You don't have to use them immediately, but it's better for you to secure your name on the platform now rather than later. So, like, say your business does really grow, and you're like, okay, now it's time for me to get an Instagram or TikTok, but then somebody else has the name already. So just make sure you secure your name on all the platforms. But then you can pretty much target well, you can target where you should spend your time based on who your target market is. So if you're skewing a little bit younger, you're probably going to use TikTok. If your target person is a little bit older, maybe you want to use Facebook and a Facebook company page. Or if you have like more millennials or like Gen Xers, you may want to use Instagram. And then for LinkedIn, you may want to if you're targeting Gen Xers than millennials, maybe a little bit older, you may want to use LinkedIn. So I would say do a little bit of research, just Google online. So what are the age demographics for the various social media platforms? And then start there. I would recommend that you focus on one at first, focus on one platform at first. And then as you're creating content, you can reuse some of that content on the other platforms. So for example, when I post on TikTok, I'll save that video and then I'll go and I'll share it on LinkedIn maybe a couple days later. So don't do too much work. Try to do do less so that you can get more.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yes, yes.
This is Quenisha Kennedy. She's in 11th grade, has a cool concept for a female-owned car detail business. And she asked, what do you think stands you out among your competitors?
Oh, it's probably my presentation style. That's what people talk about the most is like when they come to a training with me, my trainings are fun and engaging and very culturally relevant. I think that's what stands out to me the most. But for her business idea, she's in a really good spot because when it comes to women owned businesses, especially that are in male dominated industries, there's a lot of different grants and resources and programs. So she's on the path to a very good business idea.
Oh, big time.
Yes.
This is Elijah Dawson. He's in 10th grade. And he asked, what inspired you to start your social marketing business as opposed to other businesses?
Oh, that's a great question. My baby brother's name is Elijah. So I had this, it's just basically the skills that I had and what I enjoyed doing the most. So because I had that background in marketing and I was already using social media to promote some of my articles when I was freelancing. It was like, okay, I can make this into a business versus like I have some hobbies that I enjoy that I understand people like sometimes they can monetize their hobbies. Those are just things that I didn't want to monetize. I just wanted to focus on something that aligned with my skill set and something I was good at and something I would enjoy.
Yeah, and so many times people try to go into business just for something they think is going to be lucrative. But if you don't have the passion for it, you're wasting a lot of time and a lot of money.
That's so true. That's so true.
Uh,
So much.
I got two more. This is Shanaria Lewis. She's in 10th grade, has a cool concept about a teen hangout center to offer uh, kind of a place for them to be. And she asked, when someone works with you, how do you define the culture you build for their company?
Oh, that's so good. So how do I define the culture that I built for that company?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, for me, company culture is very important. So whenever I'm working with other organizations, I have to make sure that our values align. So making sure that we just like see eye to eye on, especially like major political and social issues. That's very important to me. If it's not alignment and it's not a fit, then I'm not going to work with the organization. That's the main thing. And then also, I will say for this idea for the Teen Hangout Center, this is also a great one that you can find a lot of grants, a lot, especially local, state, and I don't know, because DC we're weird because it's like it's it's a district, so we have
Yeah.
local grants, but then like sometimes like you can apply for like grants in Maryland and things like that. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities for her to get that off the ground.
Yeah, state of Mississippi has both of those. It has the minority business owners and the female business owner grant.
Nice. Yes, that's going to be great.
All right, I just got handed one more, so now I have two more. This is Jacayla Cross. She's in 10th grade, has
Mhm.
a concept for Asian dance and Asian culture.
Nice.
She wants to live in Korea, and she asked, "How do you manage your work-life balance?"
Oh, that's such a good question. My work-life balance is much better now as a business owner. I have I'm not strict, but I have time blocks of how I organize my day. I'd say as a business owner, you have to have a lot of agency and discipline to organize your day. Your calendar is very important. When I was a corporate employee, I didn't really use a calendar like that, but now I stick by my calendar. It's very, very important to me. As you know, Greg, you sent me, that's like one of the first things I said, please put it on
Right.
my calendar. Please put
Yeah,
it on my calendar. So it's very, very important. So things that are important to me are reading, roller skating, hanging out with friends, hanging out with family. So I make sure that I have like actively make sure that I have that time on my calendar at least once a week where I'm meeting up with friends or family or hanging out or doing things like that. And then sometimes the work ebbs and flows. Like sometimes I'll have more work to do, sometimes I have less work to do, but I do always make sure that I'm very intentional about enjoying my life.
absolutely. And that's a big pro of being an entrepreneur. It's a lot of work, but you can set your schedule how you want.
Yes,
I got
indeed.
one more. This is Chandra Black. She's in 10th grade. She's our cosmetologist, already working in the field, already has a great idea, has her heart set on owning her own salon. And she asked, "What challenges have you faced the most as a Black business owner?"
Oh, the challenges for me. I will say, I live in DC. We're not as black as it used to be, but we're still a predominantly black city. And I know that my experience is very different from people who do not live in areas like this. So I haven't faced a ton of challenges as a black owned business, but the challenges come from being a small business and
Yeah.
not being able to maybe go after as large contracts or not being able to get my foot in the door in some of these agencies. But I know if I did not live in DC, I would face different barriers. Like it probably would be much harder for me to get a loan or to even get access to some of these grants. But I find that because I know I live in a bubble that is not indicative of the rest of the world. But I would say, like, as a Black owned businesses, you would probably face the most challenges from access to money that'll help you grow your business, access to funding that'll help you grow your business, access to some of these grants that'll help you grow your business. That's probably the biggest challenges that you'll face. And as somebody who she wants to start her own salon, she'll need a lot of money to get the salon space started. And that's probably where the biggest challenge will come from. But I will also say, I don't know if Mississippi has some of these programs, but there are lots of programs where they will give you a grant to start up the business and help you find the space. So the thing is, y'all got to, you got to get and tapped into the local and state government, get on their newsletters, find out what the grants are going out, and then apply for those grants. That's really what's going to be helpful.
Yeah. And it's crazy how much money goes unclaimed. It's just,
So much,
yeah.
man.
And yeah, and that's not talked about enough. But
I
we're
know.
almost out of time. We're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking some time for us. But a couple things before we go. PortiaObeng.com is the website. Tell us where they can follow you on TikTok.
Oh, yes, my TikTok is Portia O, and I share tips about LinkedIn, personal branding, and business. And then I'm on LinkedIn, Portia Obeng.
Love it. Now, the last thing before we go, like we said, as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, you're just another unbelievable Black business owner we've had on this platform. And like we said, just because someone hasn't seen it, just because they don't think it can happen for them, uh, it doesn't mean that you can't be the best at something. Because it doesn't matter where you come from, there has never been a better time than right now to make something of your life and to maybe be the next Black business owner. And even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, employers love hiring people who think like entrepreneurs. And you have to find ways to set yourself apart and using tools like yourself to be more professional and be a great communicator. So as they start transitioning from high school into their next steps, what can they do to know that and prepare for that?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I would say you really have to work on your mindset more than anything because the person who's going to talk you out of the things the most is you. So I would say work on your mindset, talk to yourself, especially especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to be talking to yourself a lot. And you were so right about companies loving to hire people who have entrepreneurial mindsets. So I would say work on your mindset. There's a lot of different books that you can read that help you with mindset. just go Google like what are the best books for mindset. Then I would say talk to yourself for sure. And then make sure you have a good community, a good support system. So whether that's your friends, your family members, because there's going to be times when you can't encourage yourself and you're going to look to your friends or your family members to encourage you. If you don't have like good friends or family members right now, that's okay. You can work on developing those relationships over time. And I will say, after you graduate from high school, lots of opportunities to connect with people, whether you go to a trade school or community college or 4-year college, or you go into working, that's a great time to connect with people. Oh, and then another thing I would say, talk to your elders. See if you can become friends with somebody who is like 60 or 70 or 80 years old. They have all the information, all the
Love it.
information.
Love it. Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us all the way from Washington, D.C. Portia Obeng. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Talk to you soon, buddy.